What is going on, guys? Ultimate Deadpool here, back with a short video. I've had to shoot this video about 6 different times because I am just that meticulous. This is a very stupid video, so for those of you who like watching me rant for a little bit, buckle up. I like the black suit, as you can tell by what's standing in front of you guys right now. The black suit Spider-Man is probably one of my favorite versions of Spider-Man out there. Just in general, I like him in the comic books. I liked him in Spider-Man 3. I loved him in Insomniac's games. And I also loved him in Spider-Man 3 as well. That's actually what introduced me to the black suit, was Spider-Man 3. Which is why I will always defend and have a soft spot for that movie. And then obviously he's appeared, black suited Spider-Man has been a thing in the 90s show, Spectacular Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man. Well, not really Ultimate Spider-Man. That was more straight Venom, except for one episode in season 1. But that's beside the point. But in general, the black suit has been done a lot. There's a lot of versions of the black suit out there, from comic books, video games, movies, TV shows, all these other things. So it's an iconic version of Spider-Man is what I'm trying to say. And usually when he's wearing the suit, it makes him a little edgier. It makes him a little bit, meaner, animalistic, sometimes more villain-like. Insomniac. Sometimes turns him into a complete jackass, essentially, or whatever. So it has an effect on Spider-Man. And 9 times out of 10, it makes him stronger, makes him more agile, and everything else, and kind of enhances his powers. So you're probably thinking, well, what the hell's the point of the video? Rationalizing and perfectionism is the problem here. I am a perfectionist. I have a very hard time, especially when it comes to something I'm making, or something like, for instance, I have made 2 versions of Omni-Man, and I'm still not happy with it because I can't use him because of the stupid paint flaking on his stupid arms. I'm ignoring that for a certain video that I will get to in a later time, but it drives me crazy, and I'm gonna keep messing with it until I get it right. But and you can ask anybody in my family when it comes to like my pickup truck or the Halloween stuff that I make. I am a perfectionist. If it is not perfect, I keep messing with it until I get it the way I want it. Which is why I have not used black suited Spider-Man in any death battles or fights or even stories up until this point. Granted, I've had this guy for a while, but still, and I haven't unfortunately made a whole lot of videos in that time frame. Again, that's on me. But the problem with using the black suit for me is trying to rationalize why he's wearing the black suit. Because in most versions of Spider-Man, he gets raged, or the symbiote latches onto him because it senses his rage, or it just latches onto him because it needs a host, or in Insomniac's case, it's because he got stabbed with a 12-inch blade and was dying from it. So, and then that, in turn, gave him a boost. It started making him defeat villains easier. It started making him, doing crime fighting stuff better. Just overall, it made him a more efficient version of Spider-Man. Even though Spider-Man by himself can be very efficient and very strong and whatever, durable as is. So when it comes to like my death battles, I should be able to just say, well, who cares if he's wearing the black suit right off the bat? Because it's just Spider-Man at the end of the day fighting a villain or fighting a character that I chose to have him fight. But in the back of my head, I have this over ridiculous rational idea that I have to realistically put Spider-Man in a scenario where I feel like he would need to earn the black suit, or like it would act like a power up, essentially in a video game. Like, Mario eats the mushroom, he gets bigger. That's a power up. Spider-Man's case, he's fighting, he gets his butt kicked, he needs a little bit of help, he uses the black suit, ends up winning, and goes on from there. Over rationalizing and overthinking everything, I know. So what's the problem? Spider-Man can kick almost anybody's ass that I have, and would throw him in a scenario where he would require the black suit to have an advantage point. He would most likely kick their asses. I pulled out Omni-Man earlier, and yes, I plan on using Omni-Man in future videos with Spider-Man. Spider-Man without the black suit would still be able to whoop Omni-Man's butt without the symbiote. It would take a little bit, and yes, he would eventually win. But if I said, for instance, I had Spider-Man as his regular everyday self, he's going along, he's getting his butt kicked by Omni-Man, and then he's like, oh crap, I need to figure out a way to get this guy down. He goes and takes a drastic measure and puts on the black suit, knowing what the effect has on him with it. It doesn't feel right for me. It doesn't feel like, to me, I can't rationalize saying, oh, well, he had the black suit when they first met, so he would naturally already have those type of powers, and the powers and everything that the suit would give him from that added advantage point. I can't rationalize that for me, so I have to come up, in my head, I feel like I should have to come up with a way to where it's like, okay, he needs the suit because this character is too strong or too powerful for his regular everyday, power set. And as stupid as that sounds, and I know there's going to be so many people saying, oh, well, just screw it. Say screw it. Have him just have the black suit so we can have black suit Spider-Man videos. I'm with you on that. I would love to do it that way. But my stupid brain, being as stupid as it is, won't let me do that. Because it has to overanalyze and overcomplicate things and be like, okay, why does he have to have the black suit? What scenario does he have to be in? To it's like, I can't do this without an alien that's going to give me an added height or added strength and power surge and essentially steroids to my already overpowered powers. Or already potentially overpowered powers, depending on who's writing the comic book, who's directing the movie, or who's creating the video game. Because Spider-Man, for some issues of comic books, movies, TV shows, or whatever, is considered an overpowered character, depending on who's writing it. So, he wouldn't need the black suit for certain scenarios. He wouldn't need the black suit for certain characters to fight. And it's one of those things that I need to just say, it's a video on YouTube. Nobody is going to care that much. But I will. Because I am just like that. I cannot tell you guys how many times I have had that happen. Where I've had a great idea for a video, but then I had to overthink everything and make it make sense. The best example I can come up with is when I had frickin' Wolverine fight Jason Voorhees, and I had that whole elaborate thing where I had a whole bunch of random nobody characters for Jason to kill, just so that way Wolverine would not just, oh, here, let me unsheath my claws and stab you in the frickin' throat and kill you in 5 seconds. I overthought it, and like, okay, well, why does Wolverine want to kill Jason Voorhees? It's Jason. He's not gonna want to really beat him up because it's a 7 foot tall, 6'5", whatever, dude in a hockey mask. Wolverine's not gonna care about this guy. But I added the whole story plot where, Jason was frozen for a long time and was dead. They found him floating in the river in a giant ice cube that I actually froze a Jason Voorhees figure in a block of ice and melted it on camera and everything else with camera tricks and whatnot to make it look like Jason was thawing out of the ice. And then once Jason is thawed and resurrected from the ice, he goes around and starts taking out Wolverine's friends one by one, which then leads him to want to take down Jason because Jason killed all of his friends. He wants to get back at Jason for that. I had to rationally think, okay, Jason would easily lose to Wolverine, but I really want to do this fight. How am I going to make it make sense for me? And that's what I did. It's, to this day, is one of the most ridiculous things I have ever done, because I couldn't just say, oh, well, Wolverine just happened to go by Crystal Lake, or Jason just happened to go by wherever Wolverine was hanging out. No, I had to overthink and rationalize how all of that stuff would work. And it's stupid. It was ridiculous. It was dumb. It was convoluted. It was ridiculous. Because I couldn't just throw those characters at each other and call it a day. No, I had to rationalize how is it going to work. One of the best examples where I just said screw it and threw the characters at each other without any rhyme or reason or whatnot, and I can tell you that it failed because I personally hate the video, is Metalhead versus The Last Ronin. I threw those. It was one of those scenarios where it's like I can't just have The Last Ronin lose, and I can't just have Metalhead lose because it wouldn't make sense knowing both characters' history. So I over rationalized and overthought it, or I completely overthought everything, and I made The Last Ronin technically win, but not really win, by subduing Metalhead long enough to get away. And to this day, I still hate that video because it was so ridiculous and dumb. It was supposed to lead into an entire time travel scenario where Metalhead was going from dimension to dimension, killing versions of Shredder because he's trying to, and I quote my younger self, because I said this in a different video a long time ago. He was going from different dimensions, killing off each version of the Shredder, so that way the Turtles would not suffer PTSD from the Shredder, and his own past could be at rest. Because in that continuity, in most continuities with Metalhead, Shredder basically uses Metalhead as a weapon and gives the Ninja Turtles PTSD because they're teenagers and it's a dude in a giant metal suit beating them up and brutally almost killing them every time he fights them. And it's just, why? The whole thing with that video was, oh, Metalhead is going to the Last Ronin universe to kill his version of the Shredder. And it led into this whole, it was supposed to lead into this whole thing. It's like, oh, each time he kills a Shredder, that's going to hurt the multiverse. And it was so bad and so convoluted and stupid. And I hated that video so much that I scrapped that entire idea because of how much I hated it, because it did not make sense. So for me, it has to make sense. And that's the problem. And I need to keep telling myself, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to give a crap if I throw black-suited Spider-Man in a scenario where he already has it. He already has the black suit. He's already, infected with the symbiote. He can just beat up whoever he wants now with an extra boost. I need to keep telling myself that. He does not have to have a logical rhyme or reason to have the suit. But it's just a little voice in the back of my head that keeps telling me this, and it's driving me crazy. But that's my problem as a perfectionist. I cannot explain it better than that. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I have that problem. It is seriously the same thing as my truck and the Halloween stuff that I build. If it is not perfect, I keep messing with it and keep doing it and keep working on it, fixing it, whatever, until I get it exactly how I want it. Because I can't rationally just say, it's good enough. I can't do that. I literally, physically cannot do that. I cannot describe it. That's why I have 2 versions of Omni-Man, working on a 3rd one. The only time I really fudged the numbers, if you want to get technical, is when I made Invincible, because the shoulder pad look was so good. I took creative liberties in my own hands, and to this day, I still do not like this version of Invincible all that much. I like it. I will use it. But the collar was the number one thing that made me turn this from the Iron Spider Mark III to Invincible. Part of it was the shoulder pads. Most of it was the collar, because I loved how the collar looked on him. That's why I didn't bother doing the whole mask flap or whatever that Invincible has on his suit. But this is one of the very rare times where I just said screw it and worked with what I had to work with, and I actually ended up liking the results better than I thought I was going to. So that's just, and it's one of those things that, and I've said this before and I'll say it again in this video, it's a me problem. It's a me issue. It's an issue I have. I don't know why. I don't know. It's always been a thing with me. I can't describe it better than what I just did in this 16-minute long video that was only supposed to be 5. But that's just how my brain works. You know, if it's not perfect, if it does not make sense, I keep messing with it till I can rationally come up with a scenario where it's like, oh, this person would lead at this moment, would lead to this, which would lead to this, which would lead to this. That's why the connected universe hasn't started yet. I would love to have the connected universe started, because it would be a huge boost on my channel, potentially. And if you hear creaking in the background, it's my chair. But that's why I haven't done anything with the connected universe, because I know I have to rationally come up with, okay, how is this character going to show up? How is this character going to be introduced? I can't just look at it and be like, okay, this guy already exists, this guy already exists, he already has his stuff, he already has his stuff, she already has his stuff, blah, 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 blah. I can't do it. I have to, it's one of those things that I have to rationally come up with. Okay, who gets introduced first? How are they already introduced? What have they already gone through? It's a whole convoluted mess of crap, essentially. And at some point, I'm just going to have to say the hell with it and pull the trigger and get it done. Because otherwise, we're going to be here forever. So, but like I said, this is mostly a me problem. This has nothing to do with you guys at all. This is strictly a me problem. This is my problem. As a perfectionist, I can't just say it's good enough. I can't just say, well, it doesn't have to have a rhyme or reason to, be in existence for what it is. I can't just say it's fine. For my mind to work properly, I have to have a specific reason for those events, or any events in most of my videos, to make sense leading up to that moment. Sometimes it works, and sometimes I can get away with not having to do that. Other times it drives me crazy, and I keep screwing with it until I get it the way I want it to be. Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't. But 95% of the time, if it is not right and if it does not make sense to me, I keep messing with it until I get it right. That is exactly why I never made the Last Ronin versus Predator video, because I had a great idea for it. I had a great script in mind for it, but I couldn't realistically bring myself to do it, because it's one of those things that it could have gone either way, but it should have been more of a one-sided fight. So eventually I still plan on doing that, but right now it's not going to happen. So, but again, like I said, this is a problem I have. I'm trying to figure out how to make it work, because I do want to use Black Suited Spider-Man in a lot of videos. I just need to figure out a way to not have myself overthink it and cause it to be a problem for me, because otherwise I will never get it done. I will never end up making Spider-Man videos with black suited Spider-Man, because I will have to keep telling myself it's just a video. Nobody's going to care about it. They just want to see the black suit. But in the back of my head, I'm like, you have to make it make sense, because otherwise it's not going to be fair, or it's not going to work right if you don't have it make sense. And it's just it's a problem I need to figure out. So anyway, this video has gone on way too long. I've had to shoot it 3 or 4 different times. It's all basically the same rant, except other video takes of this video have actually gone on longer than I can believe it or not, or than this one has, believe it or not. So, but like I said, this is a problem for me. It's just, and that's why I said in another video a while back, YouTube is my therapy, essentially. So if like a video like this, where I'm kind of, venting off what I need to do to come up with a good idea for a video, that's how I work. That's why a lot of my videos, they don't do that well, because it's just me talking to myself, essentially, for 10, 20 plus minutes straight, trying to rationalize, okay, how can I come up with this? Why is this working? Why is this not out yet? It's because I'm giving myself therapy through YouTube. And it just so happens to be posted on YouTube half the time. So, but like I said, this is more or less a problem that I just need to get over, because, like I said, I want to use Spider-Man in his black suit, because it's an iconic version of Spider-Man, one that I really like, really enjoy, and think is probably one of the most badass versions of the character. But if I can't rationalize it for myself, then I'm so afraid it's not going to make sense for the video stance. So I will try very hard to make this work, because I know there's a lot of people out there who really want to see the black suit in my videos more often. I had people comment all the time and message me all the time when I was doing Lego stop motion videos, that they really wanted to see the black suit more often. And I would have loved to done that, but again, I can't rationally think, okay, what scenario can I put Spider-Man in where he would need the black suit to get past a certain thing, or get past this whole scenario, or whatever. It's like, it's a stupid problem I have. I'm going to work on it, but hopefully this YouTube therapy session will help me. So, and obviously your comments and whatever do also help me as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this oh so wonderful rant video. So until then, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys all next time. Bye.